Whisker Haven, Palace Pets, Treasure's Day at Sea by Andre Postner Senchis, illustrated by Sue DiCiso. One sunny day, Ariel's pet kitten Treasure was playing on the beach with her friends. Treasure and Max the dog were running along the shore, happily getting their paws wet. Scuttle the seagull flew nearby, telling funny stories. All of a sudden the friends heard a tap, tap, tap. "Was that you, Scuttle?" Treasure asked. Scuttle shook his head. "I ask Unk, Unk, and even caw, caw sometimes. But I never tap, tap, tap," the seagull replied. The tap, tap, tap sound continued. Max scampered up a sand dune and looked around. He pointed a paw out toward the ocean. That was where the sound was coming from. Treasure, being a very continuous kitten, wanted to investigate. She leaped onto a piece of driftwood and floated out into the water. Treasure soon passed a dolphin doing some amazing leaps, but the dolphin wasn't making any tapping sounds. Then Treasure floated by a pair of sun-bathing seals. They waved their flippers but didn't make any tap-tap-taps. "I see something," Scuttle reported from overhead. "Turn a bit more to the left." Treasure used her paws to paddle her driftwood boat. The tap-tap-taps were getting louder. Treasure soon passed a dolphin doing some amazing leaps, but the dolphin wasn't making any tapping sounds. Then Treasure floated by a pair of sun-bathing seals. They waved their flippers but didn't make any tap-tap-taps. "I see something," Scuttle reported from overhead. "Turn a bit more to the left." Treasure used her paws to paddle her driftwood boat. The tap-tap-taps were getting louder. Soon the kitten spotted a sea otter. Treasure watched as the otter lifted a clam shell and banged it on a rock. She balanced on her belly. The tap-tap-tap. "Hi, I'm Treasure. What are you doing?" the kitten said. I'm Pearl. I'm eating my lunch," the sea otter exclaimed, and after a few more tap-tap-taps, the shell cracked open and Pearl slurped out the yummy clam. Treasure was impressed. "It must be fun to eat at sea," Treasure said. "I eat all my meals on land." "So sea otters do most everything in the water," Pearl told her. "We can play, we eat, play, and even sleep here." This sounded like a great way to live, especially to a kitten who loved the seal. Treasure called up to Scuttle. "I'm going to spend the day in the water with Pearl. I'll tell you and Max all about it later." "I'm a bit hungry," Treasure told Pearl after Scuttle flew away. "Do you think you can help me get some food?" "Sure," said Pearl. "I'll dive down and see what I can find." Treasure treated water while Pearl swam all the way down to the seafloor. Even though sea otters live in shallow waters, it was too deep for a kitten. Pearl soon swam back up with the sea urchin for each of them. The sea urchins were purple and spiky, and didn't look anything like the food Princess Ariel fed to Treasure. "Actually, I'm not that hungry anymore," Treasure flipped. "You can eat mine too." Pearl hanged the urchin on a rock until the shell broke. She happily ate the soft insides. After eating, I usually groom myself to keep nice and clean, said Pearl. You want to see? The sweet otter rubbed her for a while, twisting and turning, and even doing somersaults. Treasure gave it a try, but before long the poor kitten was miserable. Her nose and ears were filled with water. Sorry about that, said Pearl. I didn't know your nostrils and ears don't close up in the water like mine do. Treasure was exhausted. She might not have been able to swim as well as the sea otter, or eat the same food, but she was sure she could nap just as well. Treasure flipped onto her back and closed her eyes, like Pearl did. Now this was relaxing. Treasure, Treasure, yelled Pearl. Wake up! The kitten woke with a start and was surprised to find herself on the opposite side of the cove. What happened? Treasure yelled back. I forgot to tell you to wrap some kelp around yourself so you don't float away, Pearl exclaimed. I think it's time for me to head home, Treasure told Pearl. I always loved the sea, but being on land is pretty great too. Maybe I'll come visit you someday, said the sea otter. Back on shore, Max and Scuttle were thrilled to see Treasure. Heya, kid, called Scuttle. How was your day? I learned that living in the sea is great. If you're a sea otter, said Treasure, I'll stick to playing in the water, but I'll eat and sleep on land. Then Treasure gave parents to her friends. Scuttle got a lovely kept scarf. Max got some rocks that were perfect for cracking clam shells, or just playing fetch. Now let's head home, Treasure called, running toward Princess Ariel's palace. I'm starving.